Gersonzero here, and welcome to day 2 the E3 2017 impressions video series that I have here on this channel. The one that you're watching today is Sony's, of course, and tomorrow is the last one, which is Nintendo's. You guys already know how I felt about the Microsoft one. I quickly learned after I filmed the video that a lot of the games that are coming out for the Xbox One X is also coming out on either PC or PlayStation 4. But honestly, I want to make something clear. I want you guys to understand that when I watch these press conferences, right, I'm a gamer. I'm not a fanboy. So I see games that I like regardless of the platform it's coming to. I'm gonna enjoy what I'm looking at, right? So although Microsoft may not have a lot of exclusives, if you just have an Xbox, you still have a lot of games to play. That's my point of view. Let's get into it. Sony's press conference was rather short, especially when compared to Microsoft's conference yesterday. But they started off with what I thought was going to be Prince of Persia. Honestly, I don't know how I didn't see that it was Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Seems like it's a standalone expansion where you don't need to own Uncharted 4 to play this game. Similarly to how The Last of Us had their DLC. Even Wolfenstein did the same thing with the Old Blood. Right, you don't have to own the New Order to play the Old Blood. Now, I'm not a huge Uncharted fan. I've completed 2 and 3. I enjoyed 2 more than any of them. I didn't even run out and buy part 4 yet, and I don't plan on doing so anytime soon. I'm not a huge fan of Sony's first-party games. I hated The Order. I passed on Ratchet & Clank because that series has been on decline, in my opinion, for a long time. Although this remake, I did hear it's really good. From what I've seen, it's still not better than the original PlayStation 2 classic. So I'm not sure if I'll cop Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, or maybe I'll just wait for a bundle, which is inevitable. Sony had a lot of problems with their stream. I watched the stream live on twitch.tv, okay? It kept buffering. I thought it was the PS4, so I switched to my PC. Same thing. Switched to my laptop, same thing. I switched the resolution to 480 and it just kept buffering. It buffered a lot during the Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm guessing it was a DLC. I'm not too sure. I jumped onto another live stream. The video quality was a little lower, but it was stable. And when I came into that stream, they were showing a game called Days Gone. Days Gone is the developer of the original Siphon Filter games. In fact, I think they developed all the Siphon Filter games, including the handheld ones. I don't want to sound like I'm a negative guy here, but it's not calling to me, alright? Days Gone looks good. You know, I'm noticing a pattern here. Make sure the guy has a beard. Make sure there's a large forest level. And make it very gritty. That's what it seems like. That you get me? Like that's what I'm getting from a lot of these games that have been coming out lately. So I don't know. But one thing I'll say is that it has zombie bears. I mean, zombie bears are pretty cool, right? Then after that, they decided to show a new Monster Hunter game. When they were showing this new Monster Hunter game, I immediately thought to myself, in terms of aesthetics and art style, visual presentation, I knew this was not going to be a mainline game because it just looked weaker than the 3DS ones. I don't know how. I don't understand how Monster Hunter XX looked better than this. How is that possible? It almost looked like the 360 MMO that they came out with. And a lot of people were even on Twitter stating that this is it, Nintendo, you're done. You're dead. We got Monster Hunter. But this isn't a mainline game. Monster Hunter has a strong presence in Japan, especially on handhelds. And I don't think this Monster Hunter Worlds is going to take away from that presence. They showed the Shadow of Colossus remake. See, at first, I was in denial. Okay, they were showing the game and I was like, this has to be a sequel. This has to be a sequel. And then they showed the first Colossus that you run into from the original game. And I told myself, did they come back to life or something? This is not an HD remaster. This looks like a remake. I would even go as far as saying that graphically, when you look at the original Shadow of Colossus on the PlayStation 2, and you look at the hardware that went along with it, it pushed it. But when I'm looking at this PlayStation 4 remake, it doesn't look like it's pushing anything. What's the point? I guess it's for those who didn't play it, but they had an HD collection of Eco, whatever it's called, and Shadow of Colossus. I mean, even when you look at the Ratchet & Clank HD collection, they then did a remake of the first Ratchet & Clank game. I mean, I guess you could thank Ratchet & Clank for that, I don't know. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite garbage was shown. I'm sorry, this game is just not doing it for me. Like, I got burned so bad with Street Fighter V and how Capcom just kept asking me, hey, although you can get characters with fight money, why don't you pony up that real life cash if you want to play as these new characters? Like, it took me so long just to unlock 3 characters with fight money in Street Fighter V, and I quit that game. I'm done. I'm never going to play that game ever again unless they do some sort of rehaul, which I know they're not going to do. And Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is the ugliest looking game that they've shown on the PlayStation E3 conference this year. I would even go as far as saying it's the ugliest fighting game this generation. There's so many better fighting games out there. Guilty Gear Xrd, Injustice 2, King of Fighters 14, Tekken 7, and the upcoming Dragon Ball FighterZ with a Z. I just don't understand what Capcom is up to. They don't make good games in my opinion anymore. This game just looks trash. It looks garbage. They followed up with Call of Duty World War II. I think I'm passing this time. I didn't get Infinite Warfare. I did get Black Ops 3, beat that. I did also get Advanced Warfare, beat that as well. The only thing is I've played so many World War II shooters that I think I've been burnt out for life. Then they had to make sure to tell those who bought the PlayStation VR that they had their back. They started showing a bunch of games. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of tuned out to some of them. I went to the kitchen, I got myself a ginger ale, took a leak, almost took a dump too, but I didn't. They did show a cool game though there. There was actually a cool game. It was called Moss. It's a game about this mouse that you overlook. I don't think you play as the mouse. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a book called Mouse Guard. It reminded me of that. And finally, God of War 4. You know, I'll say this. I beat 1, I beat 2, I beat 3, and Ascension. I also beat Chains of Olympus. And I never got to play Ghosts of Sparta. I don't consider myself a huge fan of God of War. I do play them because they're interesting enough. I still think the best game is the first entry, followed by 3, then 2, then Ascension being the worst of them all. Ascension only had a really good combat system in my opinion. But this one looks really good. Like, I'm buying it day 1. Man, it's just, the story looks like it's just gonna be an epic adventure. And the combat looks so cool, man. Like, and remember when I said that I noticed a trend in these games where they had to make sure that there's a dude with a beard and there's some sort of forest-like level or forest level? Yeah, that happens here too. I'm wondering if we can thank The Last of Us for that trend. But what excites me the most about this God of War game is that you get to ride a canoe! Detroit Become Human was also shown. At first I thought they were scrapping everything that they showed last year. But it's going the same route that they went with Heavy Rain, where you control multiple characters at once. The cop or the FBI, whatever he is, and the android who's starting this revolution against the humans. Either way, it looks really good. I can't. Definitely buying that one. And the moment I saw that Bungie logo, I want to grab my phone and start reading Twitter, because I don't care for Destiny. This one looks better, but I'm just not gonna go for it. Finally, they showed off QuickTime Man. Oops! I mean Spider-Man! Okay, all jokes aside, Spider-Man looks pretty good, okay? I'm more than likely gonna get it day 1. I haven't played a good Spider-Man game since Ultimate Spider-Man. PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. That's the best Spider-Man game. Plus, you can play as Venom. This one looks pretty good. I thought they were gonna show November or like fall or holiday 2017, but they said it's 2018, and that's the problem with this press conference. I can't really think of any games that are coming out this year. I think The Lost Legacy, the Uncharted standalone DLC, is coming out this year. That's not a game that I would consider a game. I mean, yeah, it's a game, you could play it, but it's a DLC. And okay, it's standalone, I get that, but it's a DLC. God of War doesn't come out this year, nor does Detroit, Spider-Man. What do they have this year? It seems like Sony is really relying on third-party support here. Whatever. At least we have Undertale coming out this year. That game looks pretty cool. I never got to play it, but it looks pretty cool. What did you guys think of this PlayStation conference? What were you excited for? What do you think was better, Microsoft or Sony? Next video, guys, will be Nintendo's conference. I'll be giving my impressions and recapping that as well. Please, Kid Icarus and Golden Sun, please. Please, come on. Later, guys.